Hey everybody, DXUN here, and this is going to be the first installment of my, I guess, talents for Legion. I'm going to go through every single specs, and I'm going to be basically making a video or two daily about either this or the artifact spec. This is going to be, like I said, my first one for talents. I'll also talk a little bit about rotation because I guess it will help you a little bit understand why the decisions I made and all that. So again, we start with Elemental Shaman, and I start with the first one, which is this Path of Flame. Your lava burst deals 10% more damage and causes flame shock to spread to the target from the target to a nearby enemy. So you can actually, like it just says, you can actually spread your flame shock, and it buffs your lava burst by 10%. The other two, you had Earth Enrage, your damaging spell inside the ground or the earth around you to come to your aid for 6 seconds, repeatedly dealing 9.3k fire damage to your target recently attacked. So it's only 6 seconds, and I don't know how many times it says repeatedly deals, but repeatedly, does that mean even if it was 6 seconds, it would be about 60k damage over 6 seconds. I don't think it's quite good enough. And then the other one is Totem Mastery. It's an instant cast that you have. Basically, you can have this like all the time because the cooldown is 30 seconds and it lasts 30 seconds. So you can have this all the time. So the first one is basically the first totem is generates 1 maelstrom every second, basically at all times, or maybe there's like maybe a second cooldown or whatever, just to like unless you clip them perfectly. Storm Totem increases the chance for lightning bolt to trigger elemental overload by 10%, which I don't really use not storm but lightning bolt in my current rotation. I'm gonna show you what happens and why I'm doing this, but anyways, again, that's if this one was used, maybe I would use Totem Mastery, but I don't think I use enough lightning bolt to make this worth it. And an Amber Totem increases your flame shock damage over time by 20%, and then Tailwind increases your haste by 3%. So those are the talents that you have for level 15. I use this one. Again, like I said, the next one is Gust of Winds. Basically what it does is it basically bursts of air that gets you basically going forward. It has a little bit of like heroic leap, although you don't have to actually target the ground. It just goes straight up forward, basically towards where you're facing at the time you used it. You have a flee of foot. For 6 seconds after leaving Ghost Wolf, you will continue to move 20% faster. The thing is, I don't really use Ghost Wolf all that much, even if it was buffed at 30% faster. And even if I did, what I would do is I would stay in Ghost Wolf form, and as soon as I get close, I would actually use Gust of Wind instead of going 20% faster. And then summons an air totem with 9.32k health, whatever, at the target location, 15 seconds, continually granting all allies who pass within 10 yards for 60% increased movement speed for 5 seconds. I really don't care about other people getting faster. I'm looking especially at a leveling perspective. Here, I guess it's between a toss-up between Voodoo Totem and Lightning Surge Totem. I'm kind of annoyed by putting something down and waiting 5 seconds for a stun. It annoys me a little bit, but I guess I would have to try this one a little bit. But it does have a promising feature by Xing pretty much everything in a radius. So, but again, those two would be the two I would go for, grab, not necessarily. Okay, next one, Elemental Blast. If you've been playing in WoW, you know what that is. It pretty much, I don't know if I have to check the differences on this one, but again, when I used it, didn't feel quite right. It felt like too much casting and just not really, like you're just getting hit too much for the damage it does. Echo of the Elements, which we had as well, was really the one that you want to use. Gives you 3 charges of your lava burst, which is your really good hitting, your really hard hitting ability on here. So again, that's what I use. This, I don't think it's good enough yet. Maybe later on. But the way I work my rotation, this works really well within it. If it didn't have that, I would use a lot more lightning bolt, I would think, and then that would make a lot of changes. Maybe Totem Mastery would be what I would go for instead, and all that. So the way I've been playing it again this way. Because I'm leveling, I'm using Primal Elementalist, and the other thing that you might want to know is that your Earth Elemental, if it's not buffed like this by 80%, it really sucks. It will die in literally 2 seconds from silver mobs, which you'll see quite a bit of. So if you wanna, if you need a little bit of help from your elemental to take a little bit of the load off you, it's definitely what you want. Also, when you buff him, your Earth Elemental automatically will come out and stun. That will be the first thing he will do. He will come out and stun the target that you're targeting. So it's not an AoE stun, but again, if you have a primary target and it's silver and he stuns it, it will help you a little bit. You'll get a little bit of threat on it as well and all that. And I've used it several times so far, and I find it really is like basically a guaranteed stun every single time he's popped, basically, and he's on a 2-minute cooldown. So not a bad way to go. The other two are Magnitude. Anytime the target is standing in Earthquake with Flame Shock, gouts of magma will erupt at their feet, dealing extra damage. I had that initially, but again, I wasn't using enough Earthquake. It's not like the old Earthquake. The new one it hits hard, yes, but with Maelstrom it makes it a little bit kind of funky, where I really did not enjoy it so far. It's not as easy as just cast and then, you know, cast Chain Lightning. Okay, I got my proc, put it down. Cast Chain Lightning again. Okay, I got my second proc, put it down, and then watch everything die. It just is not like that at all. The AoE is going to be changing. I don't know exactly how. Maybe Storm Elemental will be one of the solutions to it, but it seems like you don't have enough Maelstrom, and I don't know if there's a limit to how many times you can proc Earthquake Totem, that it's called now, but I think they messed up something there. I guess we'll see. But like what used to be one of the best AoEs in the game might actually not be so much anymore. We'll see again. This again for leveling I think is great. And then once you're done leveling, probably, or once you're a bit more geared, this will definitely be the one I will take, which is Elemental Fusion. Increases the chance that you will gain Lava Surge by 10%. Then the next one here is where people gonna get, what, you didn't pick Lightning Rod? Well, Lightning Rod is working in conjunction with nature spells, and I do not use nature spells. I use all fire or frost spells, and I use very little lightning. If I do, it will usually be in combination with the actual main talent from the weapon, Rodin, the Fist of Rodin, which gives you, I think it's Stormkeeper, it's called. And it basically buffs your lightnings, the 2 lightning spells, Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, by 200%, I think, for 3 of them. So that's when I'll usually use it, just to cap my Maelstrom after unloading it all during the Ice Fury, which I will explain in a second once we get there. But yes, because of that, I don't use Lightning Rod, which I would normally, or I would be between those two. The Aftershock, just basically, I use that because it refunds me 25% of the Maelstrom I use on shocks, and because I use Ice Fury, I use a shit ton of shocks, so that gives me a little bit back every time, instead of like completely utterly draining me very quickly, and then I don't hit when I hit with my Ice Fury, it doesn't hit as hard, or I should say with my Frost Shock. So that's what I'm using, Aftershock. And then again, if I could change things around if I wanted to go with a more classical kind of way to do things, but again, remember that you're going to be casting it's 1.73 right now. I guess it's affected by other things, like other stats like haste and stuff, so it'll go down a little bit, but right now it's complete another junk, because you're basically a sitting duck that can't move unless you're shocking, and it doesn't work the same. Then you have the last one is Ascendance, which everybody's kind of familiar with. It seems like they've changed a few things on it. I'm gonna have to double check that, because it just mentions that your Chain Lightning turns into Lava Beam, and that's it. And so I think there's a little bit more to that. Maybe the tooltip's just not as accurate as it should be. It's a 3-minute cooldown. And then you also have the old Liquid Magma Totem. Summons a fire totem at the destination for 15 seconds. That erupts with liquid magma, earning 3.6k fire damage at all enemies within this many yards, every 2.56 seconds for 15 seconds. So that's roughly 5 to 6 times 3.6k. It's not much damage, and it's a minute cooldown still. I don't know. I've seen a lot of AoEs that are way better than this, and this is definitely, I don't know, and it's probably one of those where you have to place it down. Let's just check. I'll select it. Yeah, you have to actually place it somewhere. You can't just, you know, okay, it's going. So I picked Ice Fury, and Ice Fury hurls rigid ice at the target, dealing 17k damage. So you're still doing damage using this, and then it's causing the next 4 Frost Shock casts to deal 400% increased damage. So giving you a lot of damage. And what I do is basically, because I use Echoes of the Elements, it gives me 3 lava bursts in a row minimum. Unless I proc, then I can get extras. But what I do is I basically, just like normal, start with Flame Shock, and then I do my 3 Flame Bursts. And Flame Burst is a Maelstrom builder, if you don't know. So it will build quite a bit. It's, I believe, 12. Let me check there. No, 16. Sorry, it's the most Maelstrom that you get per cast. It's 16 per cast, and then after that, once you've gone through at least 3, you got quite a bit of Maelstrom. You're about over half easily. And then what you do is you use your Ice Fury, and that generates another 30 Maelstrom as well. Now you're basically capped on Maelstrom, and then you just unload it all using your 4 Frost Shock. And then if we're starting with no Maelstrom, more than likely your Flame Shock will be not off cooldown, but off the target, or just about, because depending on how much Maelstrom you have when you use it, it gives you more time, between 15 to 35 seconds. So there's a huge difference if you don't have any Maelstrom and you start this rotation with Flame Shock. So again, just expect it to be running out really quickly. So yeah. So that's why basically I'm not using anything lightning wise, or I'm not using lightning rods, because I'm not really using lightning spells. Now on the first rotation, on the second part of the rotation, then yes, I will probably use it. But then what I'll do is I'll use Stormkeeper from the weapon to buff at least 3 lightning bolts, and I'll fire those 3 out, and then just to get me back up on Maelstrom a little bit, and then after that I'll be like using my my lava burst if I didn't before that, you know, because 4 Frost Shock in a row, even if they're instant, is still, and then there's no cooldown. Any other shocks have no cooldowns. Even Flame Shock, you can Flame Shock 2 times in a row, as long as you know, that's it. You can just do it. That's fine. The only one that you can't do that with is Earth Shock, because you need Maelstrom to use it. But it will do it. If you have Maelstrom, you can keep firing that Earth Shock. The thing is, you don't want to do that, because Earth Shock will basically deplete you very, very quickly. So that's about it really for that. And that's why I picked those talents. I think we're gonna see later on. If I raid, like I said, I would change a few things. Like I would pick this instead, and then I think that's about what I would do. Yeah, that's what I would keep. Maybe change this here depending on situation, like if I need a different type of CC or whatever, or slow down. But that is what I would do if I was going for a rating. So there's very subtle differences here, and then I would do this for if I needed somebody to do little tanky things here and there to help me through grinding the levels. So again, that's it. Again, thanks for watching. If you liked it, please make sure you like it as well on by pressing the little thumbs up on the page. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Twitch at DXUN54. Guys, see you later. Thanks for watching.